What's up, collectors and Transformers enthusiasts? Today we're going to be taking a look at the recently revealed pictures of the in-hand images of Transformers Legacy Leader Class G2 Laser Optimus Prime. We finally get to see what this guy is all about. I always do these kinds of videos because I really don't like the CGI images and promo images. They are meant to make you buy the figure. They're meant to look good either on background stuff or just the sculpted and detailed paint distribution on the CGI images. They are never the same. They don't translate well into the actual figure itself. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And I just like to put my trust on the raw images, just a white background with the actual figure itself. Maybe a couple poses, to see, the articulation and what this guy offers in terms of coolness and all that good stuff. But it's like those type of pictures, and what you see is what you get. And what are we gonna get this time? Well, this is what we're gonna get, and oh my god, man, this guy looks so good. It looks way better than the promo images and the CGI images. I mean, it looks badass. Everything that this guy has, I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and get it ASAP. I mean, the sword, the paint distribution, sculpted in detail, the face cool, man, everything looks so good. I only have one con with this guy, is the way that the Matrix is portrayed. That it kind of pops out, and I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 about that. It's like the RGD Optimus that the Matrix of Leadership just popped. That's not supposed to pop. That's supposed to be in the chest, hidden, and that is it. If you open it, you see it. If you don't, you don't see it. But this guy, as you can clearly see, just popping left and right and saying that this guy has the Matrix of Leadership. I kind of don't like that. When I get him, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that thing off and display without it, because it's just, I don't know, the first thing you see when you see this guy is the Matrix of Leadership. You see the chest, you see the Matrix, you're like, oh shit, he has the Matrix of Leadership, and I don't like that. I like to appreciate the actual figure. I just don't like the Matrix of Leadership popping out. I don't know, that's my personal opinion, but as you can clearly see, man, this guy is just full of nice sculpted detail, and the paint distribution kind of pops it up, and I just love it. I love how the chest is portrayed. I love the shoulder pads. I love that if you go ahead and open those amazing shoulders, it reveals a couple of missiles to fight and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and do some nice stuff with that on my TikToks. I plan to do some awesome B-rolls with this guy, and just everything looks fantastic. The sword itself, I was kind of 50-50 on the sword on the promo images, but now that I see it, it looks fantastic. And due to the whole gimmick that the actual weapons are gonna go ahead and combine, I'm kind of curious to see what I can do with this, with these items and the other items that the other Legacy figures are gonna go ahead and come out with. For the last close-up, we have the back here, and as you can see, man, the sculpted detail even translates into the back, as well as the paint distribution. You can see those awesome flames that are gonna go ahead and translate into the vehicle mode, and you can kind of have an idea of how this guy is gonna go ahead and transform into the vehicle mode. I predict that this is just gonna go ahead and close up, and the transformation is gonna be easy, seamless, and pretty much like the Earthrise Optimus, that this transformation is really easy, really simple, and you can go ahead and translate between one mode to the other real quick. This is gonna just go ahead and close up. The face coat is gonna be hidden into the front of the vehicle mode. The hands are gonna go ahead and to the back, as well as the arms, obviously, and the legs are pretty much exactly the same as the Earthrise / Kingdom Optimus, so it's gonna transform exactly the same. So overall, man, I really like what I see, and even the sculpted in detail, it kind of blends in with the actual raw mode, and to make you think that this is part of the raw mode and just not carrying a backpack full of the vehicle mode like a couple of Transformers do. I really like that he has no background, man. I'm really loving it. Moving on to a couple of full shots of G2 Laser Optimus Prime, so you can appreciate everything in his entirety. You can see that everything looks good, man, and everything fits together properly. You can see the sword looking amazing. The chest, well, you already know my opinion on that, and the Matrix of Leadership and stuff like that. By the way, that's a different Matrix of Leadership. I didn't say that in the beginning of the video. It's completely different. It's not a copy and paste for the other Matrix that we have gotten so far, like Hot Rod, Rodimus, Galvatron, Optimus, and all the Matrix that we have gotten left and right. It's not the same one. It's a completely different new mode and stuff. But you can see the legs, man. The legs are pretty much a carryover of the Earthrise / Kingdom Optimus Prime, and I like that. That's my favorite figure, and I've done so many e-rolls with that. The poses, the thing that you can do, the mobility is off the charts with those legs. I'm really hyped to see what I can do with this new Optimus. And well, you can see that it has a couple of different sculpted and detail, but overall it's pretty much exactly the same. The arms look amazing. The hands are not articulate like the Optimus Prime. That's a mini con there, but that's that's not a big con. And just overall, man, it really looks good. For a check on the back, so you can see, you know, the overall look from the back is pretty much exactly the same. You can see that again, it has even sculpted detail on the back of the legs. That's always a plus. You can kind of see what I was telling you, that this is gonna just translate seamless into the actual vehicle mode itself. Now moving on to the comparisons, you guys can see the scale and how he looks next to the OG and one and only Optimus Prime. You can see that while they look similar and at the same time they're not, because you can see that the legs are pretty much copy and paste, but at the same time it has a couple of sculpted and detail newer to this mold, and the arms are kind of different, and at the same time they're not articulate like the hands of Optimus Prime, the OG one. And the chest obviously is completely different, shoulder pads is completely different as well as face sculpt, and it looks kind of tall in comparison to the OG Optimus Prime, but at the same time it's not. It's just the shoulder pads being a little higher. If you go ahead and eliminate that, you can see that they're pretty much exactly the same on size and scale. And now for the comparison with G2 Optimus Prime next to G2 Megatron, you can clearly see, man, that they look fantastic together. And now it kind of swapped, because first it was Megatron that looked menacing in you know, in comparison with the OG Optimus, but now they're kind of equal. They both look menacing, they both look like they can go ahead a couple rounds and still be alive. So I'm really interested to see, you know, the displays of pictures that people are going to go ahead and take with these two. Really curious. Now in terms of how he's going to look next to the trailer open, this is how he's going to look, and in my opinion everything looks fantastic. He scaled really nicely with the trailer on, and I honestly cannot wait to add this guy into my collection of trailers. I got like 4 or 5 now, and I'm really curious to see how this guy is going to go ahead and integrate itself into the collection. But that's pretty much it for that. And speaking of the trailer, this is how this awesome trailer looks, and as you can see, everything translates beautifully. The sculpted and detail looks fantastic next to that awesome paint distribution, and everything looks just amazing together. You can see the wheels, you can see the front grille, you can see, you know, the windows, those awesome flames on the front of the vehicle mode, as well as the front lights and the skirt. Man, everything looks awesome. You can see, you know, a couple of sculpted and detail on the sides of the vehicle mode as well. You can see the pipes as well. Man, everything looks good. And obviously, just like the OG Optimus Prime, you can go ahead and detach the trailer itself from the actual truck, and it looks fantastic. And you can see, you know, a couple of similarities between the legs transform of the OG Optimus as well as the G2. You can clearly see that everything is pretty much exactly the same. You can see the tab there, it's on the same spot, the legs are transformed on the same spot, and just the sculpted detail is the only thing that changes, but just the core spots of the actual legs are pretty much exactly the same. Last but not least, for a comparison between OG Optimus and G2 Optimus, you guys can see how they look on their trailer modes. You can see that pretty much it's exactly the same. They scale pretty much similar to one another. Obviously the front are completely different, as well as the back of G2 Optimus, but just overall the platform is still the same, and you can see that they both look good. And I can already tell that these guys have the same syndrome. You guys know that when you go ahead and display OG Optimus with the rest of the Autobots on trailer mode, it makes sense, it scales properly. But you go ahead and trade the trailer off, it's horrible, it scales awful, and I think the G2 Optimus Prime is going to see the same results in terms of you know, that regard for the comparisons between the rest of the Autobots. But with that being said, I appreciate you into the video. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Really interested to see and know your opinion on the search, especially what you think about these G2 Optimus Prime and the similarities that this guy has to the OG Optimus. You're gonna go ahead and get it, or this is a pass for you. For me, it's a must-have, man. I cannot wait to have this guy in my collection. But leave your thoughts in the comments. That's pretty much it for the whole thing. I hope you enjoy. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps you to algorithm and how some my videos get out there in a while. So if you get anything, any value to make content, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. But this is pretty much it for Transformers Legacy Leader Class G2 Laser Optimus Prime.